Hi, I'm Faith.
And I'm Steve.
And welcome to an episode of your friendly neighborhood home inspector.
Today I'll be talking about one of the many ways of doing space heating in your house.
So, what is it exactly that we're talking about? Because I had you do the research for this episode.
So there's 15 to 20 different ways we can do space heating in a home. And what we're going to talk about today, they're called radiant space heaters. These have been around for a while. They're real popular in Europe, but we don't see a lot of them here in America.
Now, are these like a replacement for conventional HVAC heating or like an addition to?
Good question. These are considered supplemental heat. So, the cost of heating homes has gone up a lot in the last few years. Natural gas prices have gone up a lot. So this is a way to conserve some money by heating the space that you're occupying instead of trying to heat the entire structure.
And why would you choose, like, what is it exactly?
So these are, the one we're going to talk about today is they're considered wall art. They can have pictures on them, posters on them, and they mount up on your wall. You could mount them on your ceiling also, and they're going to look like a frame. So you can have it, it could be a mirror, it could be white, or it could have a photograph on it that you can look at like a piece of artwork. And that is the heating component that you'll see.
Sounds very sci-fi-ish.
It is. I mean, we've all seen little space heaters that people plug in under their desks, and they have fans and they glow. This is a different way of heating the space.
So in terms of like how much heat they produce, how are they comparable to those like little under-desk heaters, or what level of heat do you think they'd be producing?
Good question. They measure them in watts. It's a loose way of determining the heat. When we talk about furnaces, we talk about BTUs or British thermal units, but these are using electricity. So a watt is a rough equivalent it's the energy consumed, so it's going to be related to the amount of heat they produce. So they will heat, a 100 square foot room or your bedroom.
So what are the advantages of these types of systems?
Well, they're very safe and they're very quiet and they're also very comfortable. So let's compare them to the glowing red hot quartz space heaters that we've all seen. Those heat in the same fashion. They're radiating heat towards us, but those have tip over alarms and some safety features, but there's some real dangers with those things. I mean, if a drape got close to those, it could catch on fire, and with these systems, that's not a concern.
Now, you say they look like proper wall art. Do you know how old they are before you should replace them, or do you know their life expectancy?
That's a great question. I don't know what their life expectancy would be. They're very simple systems, and so I think as long as they're functioning, they're either going to work or not work. Let's say that a different way. I don't know how long they'd last, but I would expect them to last, give you years and years of service. There's nothing to burn out like a light bulb.
What is like the price comparison between like a normal space heater and this specific variety?
So these are not inexpensive. You can buy a plug-in little desk heater for $35. These are going to run hundreds of dollars. Their quality levels probably could be higher, and they should give you years of service.
You mentioned them being able to go on like ceilings and whatnot, so I'm assuming, how safe are they in like wet environments like bathrooms?
That's one of the areas you'll see them used a lot. They can. There is one you'll find online that actually has like a towel rack built in front of it, and so the towel is going to pick up the heat that's coming off of this thing. So you could have it on the wall, sort of facing your shower area. It'll be very safe. It can handle the moisture. And you could hang your towel in front of it, so when you get out of the shower, the towel's nice and warm, and then when you put it back when you're done, it's going to dry out real fast.
So having it next to curtains and stuff, like with a normal space heater, wouldn't be as much of a fire hazard because it's a different way of heating.
Correct. You wouldn't want the drapes in your room blocking it, but if the drapes got close to it, it's not going to burst into flames like it would with other heaters.
Are there any safety features to prevent things like that from happening? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if they have a built-in safety device to shut them off. They're mounted directly to the wall. There are floor models, but the ones I've been looking at are typically physically mounted to the wall.
I imagine the ones mounted to the wall save a little bit more space than the floor models, but they're not as easily to transport.
And here's something, we've all experienced radiant heat when we're out on a patio and they've got the gas heater or the quartz bulb heater, and you can see the heat source and you feel it on your face or in your body. It's the heat. We're getting the same mode of transportation same mode and transmission that we feel from the sun. So, I was thinking about these floor-mounted ones. They're going to be, imagine you're laying in bed and you've got this floor-mounted heater. Well, it's radiating heat off and it's going to hit your ceiling and warm the ceiling up. But as you're laying in the bed, you're not going to benefit directly from this heater facing you. So you got to wrap your mind around this concept that you can't see the heat source glowing, and you can't hear it, but you can feel it. So if I was going to mount one of these in a space, I would want to think, where am I spending my time? Either in my bed or at my desk, and I'd want this facing me so it's heating the surfaces that I'm occupying, my bed surface or my desk, and then hitting my body. So it's this sort of line of sight. You've got to sort of think about when you're placing these things so that the heat is warming you.
Now we're talking about this in the winter now, where we're in our office basement, and I am wearing a winter jacket because it's freezing cold down here. Do you think it would fit in a space like this? It's just a normal basement with like concrete walls, and then you can see the floorboards right above us.
Yes, it would. And yeah, our basement is uncomfortable because we've got a concrete floor and concrete walls, and those surfaces are the same temperature as the earth. They're probably 55, 60 degrees. So we can spend a lot of time and energy heating this air in this room, and the basement will always be cold because the floor and walls. Unless we got these floors and walls warm, it'll be uncomfortable down here. And to heat these floors and walls would cost quite a bit and use quite a bit of energy. So if this is the space we're always working, and we had one of these wall heaters 5, 6 feet from us, the space we're in right now would be very comfortable, even though it'd be uncomfortable on the other side of the room. So again, you're heating right where you're occupying.
Does it work similar to like how a heated floor would work?
Yeah, I mean, the heated floors are radiating heat up towards you from below, and those are a wonderful system because you've got nice warm feet, and then your head is cool. We have built-in radiant ceiling heating systems, and then you end up with a hot head and cold feet. So I think heating a floor is a really great way to go.
But if you don't want to tear up your floor or lose some height in your room, this is probably a better option.
Well, that and radiant floor heating, there's two ways of doing that. One is a space heating, like you're heating a tile. It's a tile warmer, and that's not made to provide the heat for the entire space. It's just to keep the tile warm. But in our old house, we had radiant heated floors, that was the mode of heating the building. But what we're talking about today is space heating. This is increasing the comfort of a small space that you're occupying for a long time.
Good deal. And what are like the price point for this? And
I've seen them running anywhere from $150 to $300. So it's a little higher option, but I think it's a very interesting idea.
and for me, the volume of it is a good option as well because of the space heater that we are using upstairs right now is loud.
Right, that's one of the big benefits. These things are perfectly silent, and they just sit there and do their job, but you're not even going to know they're on. You'll feel they're on, but you're not going to hear them if they're on.
So how do these differ from like the traditional radiators that you'd see in older buildings, the old water-powered ones?
Their mode of transmitting the heat is not dissimilar, but those systems are made to heat the entire structure and provide the central heat for everything. These are considered supplemental. You wouldn't buy this to be your primary heat source.
And I'm curious about this. You mentioned earlier the ones that you said that had a quartz
A
thing,
quartz bulb, yeah.
quartz bulb, so that piece of rock is then radiating the heat outward, and then with a boiler you have the water radiating the heat. What is the conductor there? Not the conductor,
So when I
but
say quartz, yeah, you're right. Quartz is a mineral, and like a quartz rock, but these are the ones that you've seen that are like a size of a sausage, and they're glowing red hot. That's a quartz. I think they call it a quartz crystal bulb. It
similar
probably
to
has
like,
quartz in it, but you're not looking at it as a piece of stone.
would it be similar to like a soapstone where
No, I know where you're going with that. That's soapstones have a lot of thermal mass, and they radiate the heat slowly. These just happen to have the name quartz in them. You've seen the glowing orange heat bulbs. That's what they call a quartz. It's called a quartz lamp.
very cool. Any advice for a person looking into this or looking into heating their home in addition to their HVAC system?
So if you're finding that your bathroom is just too cold in the morning, or the place again, these would be best used in places where you're going to spend quite a bit of time. I don't think it'd be a good decision to have it as a heat source if you're going to be in the room for 10 minutes and leave. And like, yeah, I want to warm up while I'm in there. Like, I would use this for a home office. You can keep your office nice and toasty warm. or even you're in a living room where you're spending time on the couch, you could have it facing you on the couch. And I think that'd be a great way to heat the space without taking up your floor space and not having to listen to a fan of a heater running all the time. And these would be a really great idea if you've got pets and kids because they're just so inherently safe.
Good deal. Well, I'm going to put some additional information in the description of this episode. If you have any additional ideas, comments, questions, anything like that, our email's in the description.
I'm Steve.
I'm Faith.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
This has been a Murawski Inspections podcast. If you want to know more about our services, visit our website at murawskiinspections.com.